How's it, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to another CJCJ Show, episode 9. Took a little hiatus last week, but we're here with Jazo and me, of course, and the GOAT CJ. Uh, here to talk about, previous results and other things. I don't know. We didn't really discuss what we were going to talk about. We're just kind of going with the flow. And
we're just hanging out
CJ,
there.
take it from me, please.
Yeah, we put Chrome on the spot. It was hanging out. We're like, Chrome, you're doing the intro, go. We just didn't even play the intro vid straight into it. It's a bit scuffed. I've got a new PC, so I lost all my scenes and everything. So hopefully, actually, looks the chat's looking clean in that box down there. So this is a good start.
I wish it was a little bigger.
I can make it.
better.
I can make it bigger.
Emergency fix.
Anyway, how we doing, boys?
Pretty
Chat,
good. How
we're,
about
we're
yourself?
featuring you today, chat.
Yeah, how you going, chat? Our guest, chat.
Big
Yeah, chat's
guest.
Yes.
Oh, I don't want to actually.
Our best guest so far this season. Honestly. Oh, he's breaking it. Oh, he's fixing it.
Oh, fixing it.
Yo, goat. Actually.
Oh no, now it's off the screen.
No,
I'll keep
that's too
working on
big.
that. I'll keep
You
working
got the
on
lineup, you got it
that.
nailed.
Oh no, I haven't.
Bold of you to assume I identify as chat. What would you rather identify as if you're not chat? Something like that. Identify as a Rocket League fan. Not a Rocket League fan. Identify as a CJCJ Show enjoyer.
Identify as my microphone. What the?
Mhm.
Anyway, so this episode, right? So, but firstly, we're a day early. All right, we're a day early. We understand that. That's on purpose. Basically, we're all working class people now. All right, so we have lives, we have jobs, and we worked out that Wednesdays are going to work better for us. But we also hope it'll work better for you guys in that we can do the Wednesday show, preview the weekend regional, and it will get more time to upload to the YouTube so you can watch the show before the regional starts. Whereas before, it was sort of like we did this show Thursday night, and then the regionals on Friday. So sometimes the YouTube video was going up and the regionals already happened or it's happening. So I think that'll work better the Wednesdays. Hopefully it'll work better or work all right for you guys because this will be a consistent thing. And also, yeah, just us tonight. We sort of worked out we wanted to get some EU guests on, but then we worked out that it's actually like 1 a.m. in London. So that's the other scuff thing in that we're probably going to run this show, which would like the show before the Europe regional, so the EU regional preview show. We kind of want to do it maybe an hour earlier than this, just so we can get some EU guests, so it's not too late. Maybe 2 hours, we're not sure, we'll work it out. But then the NA show will always be at this time, so the NA preview. But this show's about just us and you guys just hanging out. It's a little bit more cash. We've got you guys as guests. So if you've got any questions, drop them in. I'm thinking of a few new segments as well. I was actually spitballing. Obviously, we have the measuring Jarzos. Yeah, it's a classic CJ show. We're just hanging out with you guys. It's like a podcast, but we're with you guys as well. We had the measuring Jarzos. Now, I've got another potential show idea here, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on with this chat? It's not... Some people, why are some people coming up so far left of everyone else? Like Fernando type. Like he's way too far left when that comes up. Fernando, type right now. I see you.
It's the big names,
See?
man.
He's look at how much further left he is. Like I feel like I've got it lined up and then he just comes in and just puts us off the screen. He's ridiculous.
You really gotta like. Can you not like?
I can sort of. I'm working.
Can you thin it up? Can you
I'm
thin
working
it?
on it. That's pretty good. I'm working.
Wait, can you get a screen region of the actual chat?
Well, you're probably on I sort of am. I've got to like change the manual pixels and stuff. So I'm.
No. I mean, like, are you on your dashboard? Go to the actual channel and clip it there, maybe, because it's all in like the same line on. Like, if you go to actual channel, like the layout of everything.
Wait, what? Channel?
Like, I'll clip it to you. What it looks like. Like, you're on dashboard, right?
No, I'm just doing it in OBS.
Oh,
how? Is there a way you can like clip it?
Oh no! I'm doing it through like a. Don't worry. I'm working on it. I'm thinning it up.
Thin it up.
I'll make it more of a box. I'll make it a box if you want me to make it a box.
Oh,
it
looks like that. You can't clip that. You can't like clip it and like paste it in there.
It's now. I've made it a box, so I think we have to be good now. Fernando, type
box.
Anyway, we're working on this. If you're watching this in post, then if you're watching this on Spotify, apologies. Tune into the YouTube.
Fernando's chat name is just juiced.
That looks really good.
Yo, this is real throwback vibes right now.
Yeah, this is just the boys hanging out. This is what we love.
How
Anyway.
long has it been since we've done just us three?
It's been a while, and Jarzo was shying away from it. He's like, "Well, come on, like, why would I want to just hang out with you guys without guests?" And I'm like, well, "Why wouldn't
Okay,
you?"
why are you putting words in
our
our mouth right now? Who's?
Um,
When did I say this?
Anyway, let's
Huh?
forget. Let me just go back to what I was saying
Uh-huh.
before you rudely interrupted me about this segment. All right, about actually the text looks fine. I could probably make it a bit
Oh, looks
bigger.
good now.
I think it looks good now. Is everyone happy? Everyone's happy. All right. The new segment that I thought of, it's called "I Can Coach Space Station Better Than Chrome." And what we want you guys to do is to jump into our CJ Show Twitter DMs with just you know how Reddit just think that they're all like, if I could coach a team, then if this team just did this, I know the secrets to rotating, stuff like that. So what we want you guys to do is, if you're one of these people that jump in on the Reddit and think that you have the secrets to success, chuck us a Twitter DM under the topic of "I can coach Space Station better than Chrome," and just give Chrome some pointers. What do you want? Do you want Dan more up front? That sort of stuff. And we'll read them out during the show each week about the new superstar up and coming potential coaches that would like to coach Space Station better than Chrome can. And we'll just see how we go with that. Chrome, would you be down for that?
Yeah, go for it, by all means.
I just want to see people messaging like, man, like if you just got Dan just up front a bit more. I feel like Arsenal's not doing this. I reckon it'd be so funny if this like a little side segment.
I would love to see some takes, true.
We have the entire Twitch chat trying to coach Space Station. Anyway, no, this is not secretly Chrome asking for help. I just think I would like to. I had this idea with the CJ show, right? That we just we get you guys a little bit more engaged. Because, obviously when we have guests, we're not really chatting to you guys too much. But I think the CJ show should be about building a community. Whether you're watching on YouTube, whether you're listening on Spotify, we want to hear the feedback. We want to talk to you guys, whether you're coming in here live, whether you're chatting in the YouTube comments afterwards. Actually, if you're watching this on YouTube, let us know if you've got any pointers. You don't have to send us a message on Twitter. Maybe if it's a YouTube comment about what you think you could coach Space Station better than Chrome can, let us know. What emote just for that, Vic? Anyway, that's a new segment. And I think that next week, Chrome and Jarzo will also think of a new segment we can have as well. Which we should have some. I feel like we should have some weekly little segments. Just some little. Like we had measuring in Jarzos. I think we should maybe chat. Do you have any ideas for little segments we can do? Maybe they've got some
measuring
ideas.
in Jarzo. Yeah, CCP has an outstanding Jarzo measurement that I never did.
What was it?
Wasn't it like from somewhere to the microwave? It was like from Chicago to the microwave or something like that.
What we could do?
Here we
we could
go.
do like one of those like shows where we have like a debate where like someone wins in the chat like a question, and then we have to fight for one side, and
I like
the
that.
person has to fight for the other.
Oh,
and then chat chooses who wins that.
Bring back the Jarzo and Chrome debates. Remember those?
Mm.
It could be anyone. It could be CJ versus Jarzo, me versus CJ, me versus Jarzo. It doesn't matter.
The Jarzo Chrome debates used to be intense because it was the G2 coaching mindset versus the Space Station or NRG coaching mindset, whatever it was back in the day.
That is true, yeah.
So that was absolute bants, but we've still got that, so we could have that as well. So mentioned you should invite the person on the show briefly so they can explain it. Or exactly, we could get a weekly episode where we call in and get the chat coming in for their hot takes. Maybe we have a hot take segment, and we can get you guys coming into the chat, hanging out with us, and doing some hot takes. Look, we don't even know at this point if this is a CJ show or we're just kind of like going live spitballing with the community, but I'm liking this so far.
I want Jarzo to measure in Jarzos. How many Jarzos it takes for Jarzo to get to the Jarzos? So you can take a Jarzo.
No.
Basically there to the bathroom. But do a segment where you every episode you ask for more segments. And here's our segment where we need segments. Let us know. It's a good idea. It's a good idea.
I like it.
I'm liking this setup though. We've got the 3-man box. We've got the chat, and then on the right, can someone subscribe so I can see if the alert box pops up in there?
Oh, is that where the alerts go?
I just chucked the alerts over there. That's sponsors here on the right. That's what we'll have over there. We'll chuck the sponsors when we inevitably get heaps.
This episode brought to you by Peso Shave Club.
Any primers? Anyway, we can chat a little bit about some Rocket League as well, I suppose. Oh, there we go. That's perfect.
Oh, you look at that.
That looks.
Oh,
Look at
yeah.
that. This is actually some high quality stuff going on here. Thank you so much, Alex Bloden Lady. Let's briefly touch on NA Regional. I know it's been recapped a lot, and it was a little bit ago now, but obviously Gen G getting the win. Chrome, give me your thoughts, personal thoughts on the regional.
It was a weird one. I think this is like the first time that all the major teams kind of like blundered, except for like G2 and Gen G. Yeah, I think it's like the first time. So it's like chaos for the first regional of winter. It's been a while since this has kind of been happening for NA, because NA's usually been pretty consistent. Like you would kind of guess your top 4 and you'd be pretty spot on. But now it's everything's up in the air, to be honest. Like with going forward, like regional 2 is gonna be super chaotic of like as well, because you don't know who's gonna win now. I mean, obviously you know who's gonna win, Gen G, right? But like who else is gonna fill the spots in?
Yeah, well, I feel like it's not just the first time that like there's been some upsets or some big teams not do well, but I feel like it's also the first time where we've had, Dig making a top 4. I feel like rarely in NA do we have a team outside, I guess, the top 8 going in, finish in the top 4. Like, I feel those are very rare. Like, EU, that always happens. We always have this, some random team, not random teams, but, it feels like all 16 teams, like anyone can sort of get top 4. But rarely in North America do we see that sort of thing happen, where a team that's outside the top 8, 10 make it. Did you see that happening?
I don't think it's ever happened before that I could think of. Maybe since RLCS X, maybe I think Ghost got a top 4, or PK got a top 4 from being outside of the top 8 seeds.
Didn't Shopify
But
get
since
one?
then,
Am I stupid?
they got a top 8. They didn't get a top 4.
Oh, not a top 4.
But Dignitas, they're not even qualified for Regional 2 yet. It's been a while since the team's ever made it that far. Usually those type of teams make it to like the quarters and then fall out. But yeah, they got to be the first team in years that's been top 4 that no one's ever really considered.
And what's going on with Matey as well? M80. Where did that come from? Where did those results? Feels like that was out of the blue.
I mean, that's the old Luminosity roster. They got rid of it's a roster now. They got rid of Auraz and picked up Percy by the looks of it. Yeah, it's just a brand new team. Just
Matey's not like
putting into work.
The org's probably not as known to you, CJ, but the players are. I mean, they've been around.
Oh yeah, I know the
yeah,
players,
MAD,
but still
I'm pretty
sure.
Yeah, the results. Yeah, I mean, it's like a combination of the old Exit roster. They got Trey and Percy from the Exit roster, and then the Luminosity roster with Kinsey and Line Blaze, and then came together and it's been grinding super hard. And they didn't have the best of group stages, but then they came out clutch against FaZe in the the round of round of 1? Yeah, round 1 of the playoffs. I don't even know what you call that round.
So, let's do a very quick yes or no from both of you, from all of us. Will X team make the major? Let's start with Dignitas. Are they making the major now?
It's tough because I feel like if you get a top 2, you're kind of solidified, in my opinion. Because of like you don't know how groups are gonna go, and then who you're gonna play out of groups if you don't get number 1 seed. You can always get put like in a death bracket. Like imagine playing Gen G your first round, like what a crew had to go through, So it's tough to say. Like top 4 honestly isn't really like a lock in my opinion.
But so you don't think they're gonna make the major?
So they're not gonna keep it up and make the major.
I mean,
do they need to keep it up, or do they just need like top 8?
They still have to qualify for the main event to begin with.
True.
You never know. The thing with the teams like that, the reason why they are that lowly rated is because they have to show consistency first. They can't just, get one good result and just think like, oh, they're going to be the next best team. It's like you got to at least do it for 2 events in a row, in my opinion. So with them, I mean, they have all the cards in their hands. They can make the plays themselves. They performed really well, but now it's about like they got expectations. Can they like make it to San Diego, or are they just going to fizzle out?
Predict yes or no. What are they doing?
I'm going to say no.
I was going to say yes, but hearing that didn't realize they started to qualify into the event and stuff. I think they'll take a lot of confidence. They beat some pretty good teams there, but
Beat
they just
V1.
had it. They beat V1 and you guys, I guess. Outside of that, they beat
I
Koi
mean, in groups, they
5.
beat Koi.
That was it
They
though.
almost reversed.
Nah,
They almost reversed Swift Complexity too. They had a pretty good run.
Oh yeah,
I
the
don't think
complexity
they
series
will.
was really close.
I thought they were going to, but now I don't think they will. Will Furia make the major?
Yes. No? Wait.
I want to
hold on.
say yes.
They only lost to
I want to say they only lost to Gen G.
Genji.
I want to say yes.
I would say yes.
I'll say yes.
Based on what I saw, yes. Also, Dig is a no for me. I didn't say that, but Dig's a no.
Diggs a no. Will
Jersey, yes.
G2? Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's
G2
yes.
makes it, yeah. I think they
V1?
obviously have the monkey on their back with Gen G, but I think they're good.
True.
V1, no.
Yeah,
No.
V1's slacking. Well, okay, V1 only lost to 2 teams. Now I don't know if Dig. I didn't get to watch the Dig V1 series last Friday. I don't know if either of you did.
No.
Was it
I
bad?
didn't.
I mean, I was in the middle of
Towards?
watching 3 series. It was like I was watching Phase M80, Version 1 Dig, and Gen G a Cruise. So it was like not focused on one, but from what
Yeah.
I saw, it wasn't good.
Like it wasn't good on V1 side. Or
Yeah.
was it
Let's
just not
hone
good
in on
overall
them.
and Dig
Is
just...
V1 not just make the major, but like let's sort of V1 Optic, like these rosters that had the whole, rise situation. Are these rosters? I want to say finish. Have they peaked? Are we gonna see like another rise of the? No, I want to say rise. That's a bad word to use because he's a player. But are they going to regain? Or are they like? Are we done with these rosters? Do you know what I mean? Not done with them. Do you know what I mean? Like, have they peaked? Have we seen the best of these
Yeah,
rosters?
yeah, I think we have. Because once you break that trust in each other, and then obviously, like you could tell, like the NA players have weak mental, in my opinion, compared to like European players. I mean, it shows why is Europe like winning everything now. I
Mm,
think everyone just has a weak mental, so I don't think they're gonna get any better.
it's
And then
tough.
Optic obviously clearly showed that they have not been getting consistent results. They got last place, so kind of hard to bounce back from that especially when you come from like a high of like always making lands, and then now all of a sudden you're just losing out, right? Not making it's hard to bounce back from that.
I think Optic's done. I think they've crested the mountain. They're on the down. I still think like if V1 can get calm in the right place, like as a player, like with his work ethic or whatever, because I know there's been discussion about maybe lack of investment, like time wise and mentality wise, with calm specifically. If they get that back, which I know is going to be hard with all the spectacle that was the Rise situation, if they can overcome that, I don't think we've seen the last of V1 at the top, but it's close. But Optic for sure, Optic's done. In my book.
Why, Chrome? Why is Optic? I feel like on paper, Magic Bear was the best player on his team. Yeah, like Sonics weren't tearing the world apart, but he's a lot of potential, mechanics. AJ comes from a top roster, still one of the most mechanical players in the world. Reddle's a great team player. Has had results, land winner. Why are these guys not doing better than what they're doing right now? Do you think?
I mean, I think it narrows down to there could be a multitude of reasons, but from like what Rettle says, they have good practice, and I believe him because he's always been good in practice, and I know AJ and them are good. It's just at the end of the day, you got to play the games, right? And sometimes when you go to play the games, it doesn't matter how good your practice is or how bad your practice is. If you can't perform on a day, if you're getting nervous. I mean, I watched the recent, not the recent one, but the one from last split where they're communicating. Like they're like telling each other to communicate and like who's going, because like it seems like they get nervous and then they like forget to communicate with each other, and so they're always kind of like panicky. And then on top of that, probably get nervous on top of that because you're playing for obviously a lot of money and trying to make it to land, so you're not going to be playing your best. I think it's those two reasons, like nerves and just communications with those guys. When it gets super hectic, things are on the line.
Mm. Just I don't know. It's clearly a problem because for one last split they were always going to game fives. Like it was even when they were making it, they weren't. It's never comfortable for Optic, no matter what series they're in. and now they've lost a few close games and losing some game 5s now, losing some game 4s, and not quite getting to where they need to be, which is interesting because I feel like the org itself's very, I guess, heavily invested in them, certainly with content and stuff like that. But I don't know. What do you see for this roster, Jarzo?
The Optic roster?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'd like AJ's so good, or has been in the past. Reynolds has been touted as someone that's consistent. I don't know that Reynolds has ever had like a breakout performance like consistently for multiple events. He's just kind of been, sometimes you'll classify players in your brain as like either they're super consistent or like you kind of don't notice them, but they're good enough for the team. But then you have players like AJ who are like super breakout. You see him pop out double flip resets and all kinds of random mechs and just pop off and carry a team or look like they're carrying a team. I'm not really seeing either of that for Magic Player these days. Like in Fall Split, Magic looked great. But in the matches I saw, he didn't look as outstanding as he could have been. But I think it's like Optic, they'll never get rid of AJ. I feel like. I mean, if I'm coaching Optic, I'm not getting rid of AJ. And I don't think this roster is getting any better. So I'm like, is it time? Is it change time?
Well, it almost was change time, Jarzo. I think that's not helping.
I know it almost was, but like, there's a difference here. Like that was going to be change time because there was opportunity to pick up a player that was better, and not like trying to force it. That was like jump at the opportunity to just snipe someone out, right? But do you think it's time to force it?
Yeah, I think they're definitely going to disband. I think they'll have to make a move. Obviously, you want to stay on Optic, whoever's still there. So maybe Magic Bear will make way at the end of the split. We'll have to see how they go next regional. I love how Rizzo has called out this guy in chat, Packhawk, who's come in and said, I just disbanded my NRG fan club in Rocket League and gave up the tag. I love the NRG boys, but until they get the shit together, I can't help but root for other teams. Absolute
I got
respect.
a question.
Respect.
Does NRG make the major?
No.
I mean, if a bracket goes in their favor, I think it's possible.
You think it's possible? I mean, okay,
Yeah.
you played them.
Let me give you the
How did
teams.
you guys feel about your series in groups?
I mean, Group D was a wonky group. I mean, I felt like I felt like we played exactly how we wanted to. Then against Optic, I don't know, we just did not play well at all. They got to play the way they wanted to, and we had like 11-minute OT in game 1, and they took it from us. And then we couldn't get the ball rolling against them for some reason. And they came off a loss. That's why it's like super weird. And then Energy came off a tough win against M80. 3-2 and they're 2-0. I was expecting them to be super confident against us, and then we go into the Energy series backs against the wall because Optic got that win over us. We're expecting them to crush M80 and they're guaranteed in. And if we lose to Energy, we're done. Especially when M80 won. So we came in there and we just wanted it more. It seemed like they were super. I don't know if it was they're nervous or what, but it didn't look like Energy of old where like they're super confident going for the ball. I felt like we had our way with them in that series.
So it wasn't a stressful series. It seems like.
No, we were vibing.
The scoreline, at least after game 1, both game 2 and 3 were 1-goal games, but they didn't feel very close to you.
No, not really. It's weird. I don't know what it is about Fridays with us. Like, we could take a loss on a Friday and come back feeling good, but like when it comes to like the one life situation, that's the part where we kind of like fold. But like that group was super weird. It did not go as expected. Like everyone thought it would. Like. Obviously, everyone probably thought we were going to get first seed, but not in the way it happened.
We're calling that like the meme group, the content group with NRG and Optic in there. And it actually worked out to be a pretty decent group. Matey was unexpected. I call him Matey.
Is it Matey? Like, do we even know?
M80.
Just sidebar.
It's M80.
It's M80. It's not, but Matey is.
I think Johnny Boy started the Matey because it's kind of funny if you think about it.
Is M80 like a type of explosive or something? Am I missing?
I don't know.
Context?
Good question.
M80, it's a grenade, I guess. That's what the logo is.
They exploded onto the scene with that top A, I'll tell you that much.
Okay.
Yeah, exploded here. Look, in terms of NRG make the major, like my teams, I don't know who I'm kicking out. I've got Gen G, Complexity. I think FaZe still make it. I think G2 make it. And then 5th spot, yeah, it's between Fury or
Is it
Space Station. I don't know who
Wait,
makes it
give
over.
it a list again. I blacked out.
Gen G, Complexity, your top 2.
You're giving it
G2,
to complexity.
yeah, 100%. Complexity, they're a lock. They're in.
They're a
showing-
lock.
Complexity are Himities. They are them.
They are them.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
they're
They've
actually
always
good.
been them in scrims though. Chrome, correct?
Yes, they've always been them. Yeah,
Yes,
correct.
Okay,
they are.
but let me bring this to you.
What?
Teams they've beat in the top 8. Gen G once. End of list.
They beat Dignitas. They got top 4.
Dig
They
is
beat 'em
top
twice.
9. Dig is 9 seed in the points.
Oh,
Wait, what are you saying? That regional all they beat was Gen G.
The only person above them, like I had
That's a
Complexity
terrible
top
take
8,
though,
right?
because they only beat what was in front of them. They 3-0'd their group.
Yeah.
They wiped the floor 4-1, 4-1, and then lost to Gen G.
you gotta understand too. They didn't the very first regional fall split. They got reverse swept by Optic to make top 8 or something like that. Yeah, and the first regional is probably the most important regional in my opinion when it comes to new splits because it just helps you build confidence where teams blunder and they have to. There's that extra stress of having to get that placement back because you got not the best placement that you should have, and they're a team that are going to ride that high, and they don't have those outside factors that kind of hindered their performance last split. With CRR's dad literally in the hospital the very first regional. And then the third regional, they didn't even have any practice. I think like 2 to 3 days because CRR is back home getting his visa situated for some reason. Like just terrible timing with that. So they weren't like mentally locked in for the first split. But they are, when it comes to practice, they are disgusting. I could see them winning a regional because of how they play in scrims.
Yep, I think they should win. Even I think Jack was saying that in that final it was 4-1, but thought Complexity was still their toughest match. It was.
But how high were we rating complexity? Weren't we putting them like barely top 5?
I said they're gonna
I
make
put-
it.
I said they're gonna make it to whatever. I mean, we didn't even. I don't even think we talked about it about who was placing. We only talked about EU. But I
Well,
had them at
think
least
we
in my
gave
top
our-
4.
preview of every
We
region.
gave our major predictions.
Oh yeah,
earlier
you're right.
on.
You're right. I don't remember.
I think I had complexity literally 5th. But maybe I should be more of a believer than I am. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, they're goated. I think it's those two, as I said. Then G2. I think G2 are going to be in. They're always going to get pretty decent results. And I think FaZe have to bounce back. They're too good to not at least make a top. I'd say they've got a top 2 in them, but they're going to at least make one top 4. And I think, like, if they get a top 8, a top 4, they'll probably get some 5th, maybe. Maybe get a top 2 and a top 8 or something. But they'll have a good regional in them. And I think Furia, they only lost to Gen G as well. 3-0'd their group, beat FaZe. I think they've got a good chance. And then Chrome Space Station Gaming. I mean, they're always up there. They're never really. You guys are never winning, but you always. These are like the group stage bandits, the Swiss stage warriors. You're always going to at least get top 8. So it always gives you a chance. I think that's a 6-horse race, though. I think NRG's out of that. Anyway, in chat, Papa Rizzo just said that Rizzo's dad is the mailman. So that's a little bit interesting.
It's just in.
It's just
Papa Rizzo is not Rizzo's dad.
This is,
I mean, like I said, all it takes is one person to get a lucky bracket to where they get a better placing. Like you could say Complexity got the lucky bracket to get top 2, but I mean they deserve it though.
But their bracket looks lucky to me, like their playoffs.
Yeah, but it's not their fault. But you know, if you're gonna get blessed with that opportunity, take it. I mean, V1 did the same thing last split where they got Energy that first round in the semis, and then or something like that. Or no, they had Furia in the quarters and beat them in the game 7, and then beat Energy because it's freelo for them, and then ran into Gen G in the finals. So you get lucky with a bracket, you got to take advantage of it because that's your ticket to the major, in my opinion.
All right, how about this? If Complexity does well again, if Complexity get top 4 or better next event with not a Mickey bracket, I'll be a believer.
Well,
I'll be a proper believer.
I'm pretty sure it's not official, but someone's did the math on Reddit. We run into Complexity in Group D. It's going to be SSG, us, Complexity, and Furia, and then the 5th seed. The 4th seed. I don't know who is going to be.
Wait, all 3 of you are going to be in Group D?
In Group D, yep. That's if Dignitas qualifies.
Did you say Complexity, Furia, and you guys?
Yep.
That's gonna be crazy, bro.
Oh,
That's gonna be some
boy,
content.
that's going to be exciting. Who's going to be the fourth?
Oh, man.
Hopefully it's some random bad
Well,
team. But
team seed, so it's got to be probably like a Koi or I think a Knights, maybe. I don't know, a Crew. One of those teams.
that could still be a good group.
Dig's gonna be with Gen G, NRG, and FaZe. Wait, is that? Oh no, 2 different groups. Dig with Gen G and NRG with FaZe.
Oh, that's always going to happen. But
Yeah.
that's a scary group when you get 3 major contenders in one group. That is. Well, I guess you say Group A was that time with Dig, Gen G, and Complexity now, but we did know that going in.
Yeah, we didn't know that Dig was gonna be that contested.
That's gonna be scary. Do you like the format, Chrome? Do you like the groups?
Actually, I kind of do. I really do like it.
This is a little different than the last time, right? With the first seed kicking it by. If don't I remember correctly, like it used
I
to
actually
be
like it better because I personally thought it was gonna be, the round ones were gonna be on Saturday instead of quarters, but then they do the round ones after the groups, which is kind of cool. So there's not really an advantage going to that Saturday. Everyone's on the equal footing, so I like it in that sense. And
Mhm.
honestly, I like single limb better than double limb, so it works out. And I definitely didn't like the tiebreakers. I think the only thing I don't like, is it goes off game differential and win the loss. But I think if you're tied, I guess the tiebreaker is initial seeding, which is kind of silly. But
Wait, but that didn't make sense. Wait, is it not head to head? Third?
there's no head to head. Pretty sure
There's
if
no
you have
head
like
to head.
a tie,
Oh,
it goes
game
off
diff
game differential.
against tied teams.
Well, first tiebreaker is head to head. But if there's like a 3-way tie, then I think it's like tiebreaker is game differential after that, and then it's initial seed.
That sounds right. Head to head. It says here.
Game diff, and then
Okay, it did say.
So with
that.
M80
Where is it?
beating Optic, that's where they got third instead of.
No, that's
Optic.
not it. Inter. Okay. Tiebreakers: match record, game diff against the
makes sense
tied
then.
teams, game diff, initial seed. So it's basically match record first, and then head to head game diff against all the tied teams, and then regular game diff, and then initial seed.
I thought they got completely rid of the head to head thing. But that makes sense now looking at the bracket. Because M80 and Optic both went 5 and 7, and M80 got the win over them.
Yeah, because if it was initial seed, then Optic would have.
For those who don't remember, last season, if you won the group, you'd sort of go into the upper bracket. It was like a weird sort of double elim gym jam, but now I like it single elim. You just get further along in the bracket. I like it. Not too much of an advantage for first seed, but not a massive deal between first and second in your group, which I like. And second and third, it's just seeding, but just don't come last. I like that format. Just you got to fight and not come last in your group. Give yourself a chance. Should be exciting. Just quickly as well, Chrome, Gen G, I want to get your thoughts. I enjoy seeing a team that just looks like a good team, and it's not about, always about the 3 most mechanical players or whatever, just a team playing as the best team.
I mean, when you're all mentally locked in, it allows you to kind of try new things and just work on things that people can't work on. Like, for instance, I think a lot of the situations that they play in when it comes to like offense or defense, they all have the same idea of like what they're supposed to do. And then it also helps they probably have the best comms out of any team, I think. And on top of that, when you're winning like that, you're just more confident. You're going to trust each other way more. So you have that benefit. So there's no surprise there. I mean, even like doing self research of like watching them versus Complexity. I mean, it wasn't the best series. But it doesn't matter, They made it to that point to begin with, so they outperformed Complexity.
Why them though? Like, why no other teams able to sort of emulate what they're doing when it seems when I say it's easy, but it seems obvious, I guess, from the outset.
It's not about like emulating them. It's just like their structure, their work ethic, their camaraderie towards each other. Like they want to work towards a goal, whereas a lot of teams are just like in it for themselves. It seems, and not really talking to each other. That's kind of what's happening with a majority of the teams. And honestly, sometimes it just comes down to having that success of just like clutching up on game day. Like some teams are actually have really good structure, but they're just not performing. They're not following their structure of what they accomplished in practice.
Is Gen G the NABDS from last season?
I would say so, yeah.
So you don't think a single you don't think we're gonna have a
I
closer
think I
contest?
think you can have a team like a FaZe or a G2 just randomly peak one day and just beat them because it's possible because they have honestly Gen G doesn't have the best mechanical players, the best individual players on their team. They're just a good team. They're the best team.
Right.
So that just trumps all.
Right. Yeah, I think they're sort of, it feels like their floors are top 4 and they'll drop to someone if they're peaking, but unless they get an unlucky bracket, they just consistently show up and it's good to see. I like seeing that, just good team, and as you said, like other aspects outside of just who's peaking, I guess mechanically, winning, because it seems like they're, even when they're having off series, they just find a way to win, and they seem like they're all just got a similar mindset, working towards the same goal as you said. So it's good to see. But look, as we said, Jarzo's a working class man, so we don't want to take up too much of his time. We're going to jump over to EU because this is the EU preview show, and have a little look at what we're going to be having this weekend. Obviously, last regional we saw KC get the dub. Just back in form. I guess you could say Vitality, the surprise packet. This time, the groups KC, G1, Solary, and SAR, Group A. Looks like Group B will be interesting. Moist Quadrant, BDS, Tundra. Liquid and Vitality in the same group with Williams. Then Group D, Oxygen, German Amigos, Sonics, and Endpoint. All these groups seem pretty solid. We've got a good top 16 here.
Wait, the top 12 of EU just looks so solid. And in my Smokes on Sonics is cracked, can carry that team. Like they might even upset in Group D. Williams Resolve, we've seen them have okay performances before. They can definitely upset in Group C. Quadrant might not have looked well, not like that they were playing well last regional.
Don't talk about Quadrant. They're done.
But last split, they could do something.
This is not their split. This is,
and Solary in Group A. These are all third seeds too. Solary in Group A, K-Dop Fairy Peak. They could upset too. Like this top 12 is solid.
You're a little bit excited, right? You started well, and then you're a little bit excited with Quadrant and Solary.
What? You discounting K-Dop and Fairy Peak right now, and Chaussette.
And they had one good regional, I'm pretty sure. I don't think they had a good regional last regional.
I think you maybe if it was season 9, but not quite at the moment. I think.
Okay. Maybe I was kind of dropping off towards the.
You're kind of
I mean, they did beat Moist in Game 5.
They're sort of
That's
like
crazy.
NRG, like they might get a top 8, but if they got a top 4, it'd be insane for Solary.
Wait, is Solary the EU NRG? Are you onto something here?
I think Energy's still better.
Yeah, I think NRG's better. I think I was being a little bit. I just meant like sort of top 8. Like I couldn't see NRG getting like a top 2. I think if NRG got a top 4, that'd be crazy. But I think they can get consistent top 8s. Yeah, they were still 6 in fall exactly. They're right there. I think NRG, everyone's expectation is they're going to be number 1, but it's not like they've dropped off the planet. They're just now like between 5th and 8th in the region, kind of stuck around there.
So you're saying Energy's still, they're okay, but you're saying Solary is completely washed. That's what you're saying?
I think NRG have more of a chance at the major. I'll say that. Would you agree with that, Chrome?
Yeah.
So you don't think Solary can upset G1? Not for the major, but like in that group specifically.
G1's been pretty solid. I like G1.
Okay.
Yeah, G1 looked pretty good.
I could definitely see them beat Carmichael if they're peaking.
They could beat. Oh, G1 beating
Oh,
Carmi.
I don't know about that. That's a bit
definitely see
cool. I could see them maybe. Yeah, I could see Game 5, but geez, KC are good.
I mean, I'm not gonna bet against KC. Like I didn't even when Vitality beat them. I wasn't gonna bet Vitality beat them because like KC is too solid, but they have the ability on each team to do it.
I need to see Mark step up on that team if they're going to be very strong. He had a couple of weak series last regional. Couple of questionable own goals and stuff like that as well. A few interesting things. So if he can step up, I think the seconds there's in their group. I think I predicted them to win Group B last regional to beat Moist. They did that. They went 3-0. So I think that's a 2-1 group for them. Moist Esports. What are our thoughts on that? Did you watch much of the last regional with Juicy Chrome? Did you have a squeeze?
I mean, I didn't really watch their groups per se because I was too focused on Group D with the BDS Oxygen Game 5 Fiesta. That was fun to watch. And then I watched Vitality versus Carmine Core. Those were like the two big series that I watched. And then Liquid versus Quadrant, which was a smacking. So those are the only series I watched on that Friday. And then Saturday I watched Vitality versus Moist, and yeah, it wasn't close, in my opinion. So Moist still has some things to figure out. I mean, they actually look really good considering, compared to when they had Rise, they look a little bit more consistent, but they don't have that highest level peak yet. Because they got a new roster, they're playing different roles. Juicy's more of that third man on that team now, so it kind of gives Joyo that freedom to play up more and not have to worry about third man situation like they had when they first picked up Astral, because they didn't really have a designated third man, which is why they're all over the place. It's hard to say how high they can go, but at least their floor is more consistent right out the gates.
Could you honestly see this Moist team, let's say, win a regional this split?
No way. It's like the Gen G situation. You got way too many solid teams at the top, and they got to show me something.
What's their
We were
peak
rating
then?
Moist high though for that first regional.
What's their peak? They can get a top 2, top 4, I think. And you think about EU, I don't think the top teams, there's very little in EU right now, because everyone's all over the place.
I feel like when I watch this Moist team, especially Juicy, like there's a lot of just let's see if I can. I don't say like just hit a triple flip reset, but like it's like let's see what I can do here. I'm gonna go for the fastest corner double touch I've ever seen, and there's so much like it's not reliable. It's not like consistent gameplay. They're just relying on pure mech. I don't think that's really working against these sort of more structured teams. They sort of like Juicy just goes 100,000 miles an hour at everything and tries to just score insane shots. Which I mean, if they're peaking, it might work, but yeah, I think they're definitely missing that. Rise is such a good player of just adapting to his teammates. Like you see him on Oxygen now, he's almost being more the first man, like being the disruptor, the setup player. Whereas on Moist, he was more like the finisher, the striker. So I don't know. He's such a good adaptive player, whereas Juicy's probably hasn't found that role yet with that team.
Well, Rise has a good read on the game, and I think with Oxygen, I think it goes back to the meme where they only had one scrim a day. I think that's what bit them in the butt a little bit, because they kind of looked a little questionable right out the gates against like BDS and in their groups and stuff like that. And then even in the playoffs, they didn't really play to the level that they should be.
Yeah, I think I think they can get a top 4 this regional. I think they've got I don't say they've got a good group. They should beat Quadrant. Tundra is kind of that weird team they can get upsets. Like BDS is just at this point, are we just beating a dead horse? Like when are they gonna like just wake up? I feel like we're just smacking them. Just like wake up, what is going on? But they just keep not performing.
It's hard to say because you need Seiko to wake up. I feel like Monkeyman had an outstanding performance this past regional. I mean, look at his stats. He dropped like what, a 1.3, 1.4, something crazy in groups.
The crazy thing is they went 2-1 in their group last time. They beat Oxygen. But then they just, I guess, got to the playoffs, first round, lowers, got smashed by Moist. I say got smashed. It was like 1-goal games, but it's not the worst looking 9 to 12 you've ever seen. It's just they're just losing the games that you can't afford to. Like they're losing the wrong games at the wrong spots. If that makes sense. Like it's not like they.
Yeah, but I feel like they had tough competition as for the very first regional back for the winter split. I mean, they ran into German Amigos. I think they're like what 3-0 against them. They beat them in invitational quals at the beginning of the season, and then they played them again. I'm pretty sure in one of the regionals of the fall split, and then they lost them again in winter. So like, and then on top of that, Oxygen is like on paper you gotta assume they're just gonna win, right? So that's two teams that you're expecting them to kind of like have trouble with. Guild obviously is free low for every team. So honestly, groups for them win as expected. I guess it just comes down to them playing Moist. You're not expecting them to lose to Moist, a new team. But like I said, it's just that inconsistency. They need the whole roster to step up. If Monkey Moon's playing well, someone needs to help him out.
What do you think's letting that team down? Do you think it's particular players, or do you think it's just like lost their way a bit over the break?
I mean, yeah, of course they lost her. Rocket League moves at a fast pace. You can't be slacking off. Like you get replaced instantly when it comes to capabilities, and then you lose your confidence on top of that when you're not performing. I think a lot of it also stems from that first split where they just weren't mentally in it, and now they're trying to get back into the groove of things. It's hard to
That's so
say with
hard.
like Seiko or Extra, but at least from when I saw Seiko last split, I don't know who brought it up, but like he had like a total of 200 rank games compared to like every other pro had over like 1,000. So he wasn't putting into work. So I don't know how he is now. Could be different. Can't say now, but you just need someone to step up and help Monkey. Because Monkey's been putting into work. He's like top of the leaderboards again.
Hmm. He's
Usually, if
Seiko
someone's top
was
of the
one that was-
leaderboards, they're putting in that work.
You're asking me a great question there about his. I didn't actually see that tweet. Like I saw it, but I just didn't follow it. I saw
You
it.
know what I'm talking about. I can't remember if we saw it like on Reddit or something like that, but
Apparently he
showed
tweeted.
like someone
literally
tweeted
last
it.
week.
He talked
Monkey
about his
Moon, like,
mental
tweeted
and
last
stuff
week.
and struggling with the. He's
Oh, the Monkey
certainly
Moon
just.
tweet, yeah.
He's certainly just that, like, just all in on sort of Rocket League, and like it certainly affects him with his personal life. Probably doesn't have the best balance, and he sort of spoke about that, just the highs and lows, and yeah, I remember I just couldn't.
It makes sense to be at the top of Rocket League. You had to be putting in more time than anyone. You're giving up your social life.
Yeah, you lose that other happiness outside of the game and stuff. So it's tough to see from him. Such a good player, and hopefully he can sort his stuff out. And we can everyone wants to see BDS back on form. It's just crazy that the world champs are struggling this much, but it is a competitive region. Who are we predicting to get top 2 this event?
2.
It's tough, man. I wish there was a way to do projected on Wikipedia, because then I can kind of like have it
See
done
which
really
side of the
quick.
table.
I mean, wouldn't
Yeah.
it? The predicted is literally just top 2 seeds.
Yeah, but it helps me who plays who, so I don't have to like think of who's in this group again.
So you don't have to
You know
do
what I
like
mean?
the playoff
Yeah.
bracket and shit. Because we had that on Smash EG, but not on Wikipedia.
I mean, I have Carmine. They got first seed in my opinion out of Group A. I think BDS takes first seed out of Group B.
Over Moist, you think Juice is looking that bad?
I could see that as well. Is this the time when BDS just go
I
down?
I like what I read from that Monkey Moon tweet. Then put it into work. See, that's the thing. That's why I wish it was projected so I could see who's playing who. So it's a pain in the butt. But
Vitality or
I definitely
Liquid?
see
Group C, who wins that? Top secret.
it's tough, man, because like Liquid is that team where it's like their low is so low, but then they could just up and win a regional. I mean, they did it last play, right? They just smacked Carmine Core in the final. I'm gonna have to go with Vitality. They've been looking good since the Falls Regional 3. They looked good at that regional. Then they came out, got top 2 this regional, beating Oxygen in the semis. Didn't look too close in the finals, but I was impressed with what I saw.
I'm
I think
gonna
we're
go.
gonna see a repeat.
Wait, who's your top 2? You gave us KC.
Vitality, then Liquid. Oh, top 2. Like,
yeah, gives overall.
I'm gonna go Carmine, and I gotta go Oxygen, man. Even if like they may not be like practicing as hard, they just showed like they can make it that far without even
Are
that.
we worried
so.
about Oxygen a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, work ethic's a big thing. How I envision that team was like Joris is probably gonna be more of a third man, and then Archie's gonna be let loose, and so is Rise. They kind of looked all over the place when they played Vitality. I don't know if the nerves got to them.
Keep in mind,
but
if they both get to semis, they play each other in semis.
yeah, I'm gonna have to go Oxygen this time around.
Because I like, we obviously had the preview shows. Like I was I'm a massive advocate for this team. Rise and Oxygen. We all had them sort of number 1 with K-Cop. Like there's your top 2 locked. Like top 2 for everyone you asked was like it's going to be KC and Oxygen locked for the major top 2, and then maybe third. We were sort of talking about maybe Liquid sort of a bit off them in third. now with Oxygen, I know it's only been one regional, but I feel like if they were ever going to win one regional, it was going to be the first one when they're all peaking, new team, vibing. It was Vitality that peaked, and now I don't know. Is that Oxygen team gonna reach the heights that probably when you see the announcement, you see Rise joining, you see what it could do? Are they gonna reach those
I mean,
heights?
I think I may have picked them to win last regional, but then when I hear them talking on their streams, they're putting in like 50 hours in 2 weeks, and then I see the Google calendar, and they only have like one scrim a day. I'm like, it's kind of hard to like. I'm really big on work ethic because I feel like that just gives you your consistency base. And that's why I always thought Monkey Moon was like one of the best in the world. He's always on the top of the leaderboards, putting in the work. And Dan does that. First Killer does that. Batira does that. Like, it's hard for me to justify saying, oh, they're gonna outright win just because of how stacked their roster is. You still got to put in the work.
So
And they
CJ, you're
got that far
saying
though.
you say with KC and Oxygen meet up in the top semis, Oxygen is winning.
Nah, KC are winning. I think. I don't know. Oxygen
Yeah,
still have their peak. I was just a bit worried that I don't know. I think they still look good, as I said. Like, it was Game 7 OT against Vitality. Still could have been the grand final. Probably just wasn't as... I thought Archie actually played really well during that. I thought Joris was very quiet. I feel like the Archie and Rise show, that regional. But as John says, Rise is a land boy. Just get him to the major. Like, if they go to the major, I feel like that's like the EU phase. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really matter how they're going. Like, you're always going to say, well, yeah, they can win it. And if they peak on their day, they'll win it. Or they could win it.
Well,
I
for
feel
sure, on
like
paper,
maybe
they
it's
are a
just-
super team.
Yeah. Maybe it is just the EU phase. Like, they're just locked for a top 4. They're always going to be up there. You're always going to predict them because of the quality of their players. And doesn't mean they're going to be consistently at the top, but they're always going to be up there. I guess that's just where we're at with Oxygen.
Yeah. They just got to get used to playing with each other. They just looked all over the place when I watched them play Vitality. They didn't know who wanted to be where and whatnot. Just put in more reps.
Derek's noticing my leg cam.
Who's KC beating in the grand finals? On the other side, Vitality.
I don't think KC win. I'm gonna go Oxygen.
Oh,
Finals.
in
I think
that semi,
Oxygen
you
is
think
winning this
Oxygen's
one.
over KC
Yeah.
in that semi. Okay, and then what about grand final? Who's Oxygen playing?
Well, that means so wait, they would play each other in the semis.
Yeah. So if they both top their groups,
Oh, true.
KC
Damn.
and Oxygen, yeah. That's why you would like to predict it, so you could see that.
I'm gonna go K. Oh, geez, it would be massive if I predicted BDS here and they stepped up and made a grand final.
That'd be the prediction of a century, honestly.
This could be it. They got a nice.
Group B
They
first
do have a
versus Group C.
nice group. Like Quadrant, they should walk all over it. Even how they played last regional, like BDS looked pretty good. 2-1 in their group. Beat Oxygen. If they can beat Oxygen, they should beat Quadrant. Should beat Tundra. They got 3-0 by Moist. Revenge match against Moist. I think they could top that group.
I think it all depends on how Liquid shows up. If Liquid gets first seed, I think Liquid runs the BDS and beats BDS, in my opinion, in the semis. Just because the playstyles, I think, are be too much for BDS to handle.
Ooh, but no Vitality? No Vitality confidence?
No, I'm just saying that if Liquid wins that group, I think Liquid
If.
beats BDS in the semis, if that's the case. I don't think Vitality beats BDS.
I want to go KC and I want to back the Liquid boys in for a big regional. I think they'll get top 2. We're KC Liquid. I think KC win it though. I don't think Liquid get the one over him this time.
I think G1 beats Carmine Core, and then Oxygen doesn't play Carmine Core in the semis. Then they meet in the finals.
Really?
Oh.
KC second in
I'm
the
going
group
with
pulling
it.
a Gen G.
They ship it, yeah.
Ooh, that would be pulling a Gen G. Holy.
I mean, they would have played
that
in the
would be
semis last region, I remember, and then I think it was Carmine lost to Vitality, and got second seed.
That's true. Carmine literally got second seed in their group. And
Where's Vitality then? Are they going to be able to pop off again, or are you saying I'm saying
wait,
like a top
Carmine
4?
I think another top 8, top 4 around there. Depends on the
Carmine
bracket.
and Gen G's wins were the same. Their whole brackets were the same. Their entire tournament They got second seed Group A and still won the event against the team they lost to in groups.
Hmm.
Not that really matters, but still.
Did you
They could
give
do it
your top 2, Jarzo?
It's definitely KC number 1. It's so hard to pick a number 2 because like I look at the teams in C and
Just go off
B.
your feeling. Go off the heart.
I mean, my feeling is that it's got to be Liquid. Liquid top Group C, and then make their way to the grand finals, and they just kind of get embarrassed by KC. That's my feeling.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I think that could be EU. Do any final thoughts on EU? Quickly dart over to some other. Dart over to
Nah,
OCE real
I think
quick.
we're good.
I want to dart over to OCE real quick because Chrome was interested in this. OCE, no one put Resident Sleeper in chat, alright, because this region is absolutely popping off right now. We got Ground Zero upsetting Power. Power getting knocked out in the quarterfinals. Absolutely crazy. Ground Zero, Kaka Fiber, super lucky. Those guys popped off very first team, and like just blown up new roster completely. Pioneers with Hunter getting rid of Super Lucky. They looked terrible, then they looked great. It beat Power, and then they looked okay. Ground Zero nearly went 30-1 in the whole regional. It was absolutely crazy. And it means that Team Power, the team that beat G2 at the major, nearly made top 8, nearly reverse swept Liquid, are on the ropes right now for the major. They would have to win the next two regionals, should I say. Or at least a win in the top 2 might get them a tiebreaker.
Oh man.
But
Wait,
they are a
they
long
have
way
to?
back.
No wonder why that regional's all messed up because all the teams lost all their points. Why are Ground Zero in the same group as
Exactly.
Pioneers?
Yeah, Ground Zero had to go through
no,
open calls
dude.
because it's a brand new team.
Oh,
I think
that's
only
painful.
like 5 OCE teams kept their points from last season.
That is
Yeah, because
actually
you would
tragic.
think those teams would be meeting each other in the semis at least, not in the quarters. That's rough.
Yeah, Power.
It all makes sense
Power
now.
got it way too early.
I thought Pioneers got like 3rd seed or something, so they ran into Power early.
Yeah, so the funny thing is now Ground Zero, after one event and missing all of last split, I think they're now the number 4 seed in the region.
That's crazy.
So they're number 4 in total points, and they're only a few points behind Merge. They are still a long way. They're nearly 40 odd points off Power and Pioneers because they went to the major. So they've got a lot of catching up to do to have a brand new team miss a whole split plus a major, even to
So
make
wait.
Worlds. But
How does that work? Do they have to? Does Ground Zero set to requalify even after winning the event?
no, because now they're
How does
number
that
4
work?
total points.
Oh, so they finally get their own group. Okay.
Yeah. But now it means that they're number 4 seed. Pioneers are first.
First
Actually,
two.
no, Power first. No, I think. Wait, let me have a look.
I mean, overall, Pioneers is first.
Yeah, so Pioneers are first overall, which means they will be on the side of Ground Zero in the group. They'll meet in the semis, assuming everything goes normally. Assuming that everyone tops their group, the top teams top their group. Where am I right now? What season? What's going on? Fall, not winter.
CJ's lost. Yeah,
Sorry.
Power's ranked 1.
There we
Sorry,
go.
Pioneers ranked 1, Power ranked 2, and Ground Zero's 4.
Yeah. So this is a great bounce back opportunity for Power because if they win their group, they'll stay on the other side of Ground Zero and Pioneers, and
They
they
can make
should
it
all
be
the
able
way
to
down.
make the grand final.
No, they wouldn't
they
because you
would.
said Group D is Ground Zeros. Is
Yeah.
their 4th seed.
Yeah, Group D is Ground Zeroes, but Group A is Pioneers.
Yeah. So
Power
Power
is
is
two
now.
seed.
I thought Power seed one. Okay, that makes
Mm.
sense.
No, Power will be Group B.
Oh, so they're sitting pretty.
Yeah, so
gonna
if they
make the
make
finals
all,
then.
they can make all the way to the grand finals if they play clean.
But
just
the
get all the
thing
points
is,
back,
even
basically.
if like they still need to obviously at least win one regional. Like in OCE, you need to win 1 or 2 regionals to make the major. But I guess the problem is now they only got 8 points, so they're 2 placings behind Pioneers and they're 3 placings behind Ground Zero. So they're gonna have to outplace one of them twice at least for a tiebreaker. Does that make sense?
But do you think Ground Zero just had a honeymoon? You think they're going to be able to replicate that again?
I think they'll replicate it. They're looking really
Really?
strong. Yep. Very. They
You don't think
just,
Power beats them in the grand finals this time around?
Yeah, I think Power need to win this. They did this last split. You have to remember as well. They dropped out in the quarters and then they won the last two
yeah.
events and dominated after Pioneers looked really good. So The problem was though it wasn't really a 3-horse race compared to now. It was sort of the Power Pioneers show, but now we've really got 3 teams like pretty even. And as you said, Ground Zero, like I don't think it's a honeymoon purely because it's not like picking up, I guess, a couple of rookies like mechanical guns. Like these guys, well, one obviously they're mechanical, but they're seasoned players. Like they've been around for a while now, for a couple years, like ready to go. They've played against the top teams. They know how to play the game. So they're pretty ready-made Ground Zero. Whereas like Pioneers have young Hunter, who's a very like young, raw, like sort of needs a little bit of growth. Will sort of be better towards the end of the season. Ground Zero is sort of ready to go right now, so I think they'll go well. And I think both Ground Zero and Pioneers would want to try and knock down Power to sort of secure that buffer and secure that top major. So that'll be interesting to see. But that's a story for next week for our predictions. So I just want to quickly recap that. Obviously, Mina, Falcons 4-0. Rule 1, they just keep finding a way to win. I think that's crazy. Did you guys think Rule 1? Did we sort of predict Rule 1 to jump them over? I remember Johnny came on and said that he had Falcons still winning and we all had Rule 1, but Falcons are just the big brothers that won't lie down.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Rule 1 would win, but then I didn't get to watch Mina at all, but I'm looking at it, they got 4-0 smacks. I don't know how close it was. It was closer than that, but I was expecting more from them, I guess.
Well, because we had like last show we were discussing that one event that happened to me literally the day we did our show.
Yeah.
And Roll 1 won that. Really?
Yeah, they beat Falcons and then won the whole tournament, I'm pretty sure.
They got smack around.
Absolutely smacked. And then obviously we predicted Sam. We all predicted Secret to win the regional. And they've come out and gone bang. So it just makes us look so smart. And I think I also said that I was predicting NIP to probably falter a little bit with their first regional. And they did.
I thought they would at least make the finals, but struggle to get there.
They dropped out in the quarters. And Exceed out of nowhere. Exceed wasn't even seeded going into it. They came through the closed quali. And made it all the way
I
to
guess
the
there's
final.
up-and-comer players. Where are they? Let's see.
KNS, Klaus, and Davitrox.
Yeah, apparently Klaus was playing pretty good when I was watching.
They had not even. I feel like that was their. Was there a stat that was their first main event or something, or 2 of the players? Obviously, it was their first final, but I think it was a stat something like these guys hadn't even made a top 8 before or something like that. They just came out of nowhere. And
well, the roster itself, I don't know if it's the same roster, but they were getting 12 to 14 for 2 events and then 9 through 11.
There we go. Mateo said that was their first top 8 for Claus and KNS. So 2 of their players is their first top 8. They rolled the whole way through and went to the final. So that's pretty crazy for that region. That's a bit of like a Dignitas showing up in NA. So it's good to see their team Secret stepping up, continuing their major form. So we love that. Yeah, NIP need to bounce back. The big org pickup didn't quite hit the spot.
And Crew brought out to Exceed too. Exceed took out both the other 2 teams we were talking about doing okay.
Yep. Absolute freaks. Timmy's just tuned in. What's the topic? Look, today was all about 1, hanging out with you guys, 2, previewing EU basically, and a little bit of a catch-up chat. This is our first CJ show. I want to say it's the first CJ show of our 9 since we started back up, where it's just us. I think we've had guests every other time. So first non-guest show. I'm just hanging out. Do we have any other topics we need to talk about? Any other segments? Any segments, chat? It's a bit more casual.
Well, are you predicting Secret again this weekend?
I think so. I'm gonna do the same.
Yeah, I think Secret will win again.
I feel like Crew downgraded when they got rid of Shad, and then I expected more from NIP. I feel like that second spot's kind of up in the air, and maybe Exceed will continue the success, and then honestly, they probably take that second spot. I think Secret's a lock for LAN.
Yep, I agree. They're looking very strong, whereas the rest of them are sort of fighting amongst themselves. Is Evo the key, Chrome? Is he the key, or is there a long way to go for that team still?
I mean, he played pretty good. I mean, he's got the thing about new players. He got critiqued saying he didn't know how to play threes, stuff like that, because he played a Rapid and can't remember their third on X at Percy, and they didn't play good. But like, if you got a good system, you can teach a player how to play threes, and once he gets used to it, he's gonna feel comfortable and he's gonna be feeling himself. And he had his breakout tournament this weekend, so
My boy Drees.
I think he can ride that momentum as well.
It's interesting to
I wonder
see
what-
Dignitas, that team that sort of. I feel, what was the sort of the vibe amongst the other NA teams about Dignitas? Because I feel like everyone was sort of like, this team's not really working that hard. Not probably just kind of doing it for just kind of going through the motions a little bit. Or was this expected? Like, had they been scrimming top teams? Had they been showing up a little bit?
I mean, we scrimmed them once. It wasn't like anything special. So they just picked up Evo, and we haven't really scrimmed them since. It's hard to say because like they were kind of solid with Delta. I guess they wanted a different playstyle. I guess they talked about it too. They wanted a more aggressive playstyle. And it's been working for them. They played pretty well. Obviously, they're putting in the work, man. They almost reverse up complexity, and if you're doing that, then you're consistent. You're good.
I want to see him
You're
do
in
it
the
again.
running.
I want to see him pop.
Elias says basically, was Rapid the problem, Chrome? Now they're both succeeding without him. Percy top
I like
8.
to think so. Yeah. The thing about Rapid is you got to play around him. You don't play. Rapid doesn't play around you, playstyle wise.
That's true. That's what
Poor
I've seen
Rapid.
at least.
Poor Rapid.
I don't know. It's Rapid. Rapid always seemed to be like the one that would kind of falter from game plan. Like if you ever notice when they would decline, Rapid would always be the one like ending up on the other team's half randomly and going for bumps when they're not needed and all this other kind of stuff that just seemed wacky and not.
Yeah, kind of like what
Right.
Calm does now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
So it's
I
kind
totally
of
get what you're saying.
yeah.
is that
I-
mental
If
or is
he's
that
and
just
if he's
gameplay?
always the one like breaking away, then
I mean, I just remember like the whole Rizzo thing when when Rizzo was calling him out for being an idiot. I was like, damn, you got Rizzo
Oh.
calling you out for being an idiot. You're doing something wrong. What was that? Because of scrims or something?
He
Oh, yeah,
started that
we-
game.
KCP days.
Oh,
He
we used to
started
get
that.
so mad.
That was so
out
funny.
of all the teams we'd end scrims early against, like there were a few it happened to, but they were probably the only team it happened multiple times to. And it was because Rapid specifically. Trolling.
Did Gen G ever troll?
Does Gen G ever troll scrims now?
They wouldn't.
They're just like the perfect child at the moment, this Gen G roster. I'm waiting to see, like, we just haven't seen them falter. It seems like, well, like, is it a honeymoon new team? But they've just got a good structure and good heads on their shoulders. So we'll see what happens. I think Gen G can keep going on their merry way.
I think that team's just like one of those situations when the stars aligned. You got Jack, who didn't like his old team probably because of their work ethic. Jack's very like all about the grind, and then Noli got kicked from all his previous teams, so he's all about like wanting to win. So I think it's just like perfect case scenario. They always wanted to team with each other since the guild days. They couldn't get Jack because they wouldn't. I guess Dignitas didn't want to let him go, so they got Bluey instead. I think it just comes down to they always wanted to team with each other.
Paul dropping the 10 gifted, if you don't mind. Can we have some coggers in chat? Absolute superstar. Thank you.
Thank you,
Well, look, I don't have too many. I know Jarzo said he's a little bit he's a little bit tired. He's working now. He's working. He's hanging out.
We can call it there. I think we nailed everything.
We can call it there. A little bit of a shorter show, but hanging out with you guys. I think I don't know. We'll have to think about how we want to schedule it. As I said, because it's hard to get EU guests at this time slot. Like if you're from Europe right now, you're insane. It's probably like 3 a.m. It's hard to get the pros. We want them to have good sleep schedules, so we might have to change the time slot for the EU preview show if we want EU guests. Obviously, it's a fantastic time slot for the NA faithful. So we might have to work something out. But I don't mind just the boys hanging out. I actually don't mind hanging out with the chat with you guys. We could have this every now and then, maybe every once a month or something. We have a show with chat.
I think we should do that. If we don't have guests, we should have a guest call in and answer their questions.
Little
Something
guest
like
call
that.
in, have a few segments, and Just hanging out with the boys. It's always hard, if you got a couple of guests or whatever. It is hard as much as you want to, I guess, interact with chat and stuff. You sort of just chatting to the guests, and you guys are, I guess, more the audience. Whereas we obviously like having you guys involved in the show as part of the community. So make sure you give the CJ Show a follow on Twitter, and make sure you DM us your suggestions in ways that you can coach Space Station Gaming better than Chrome. Hopefully we get a couple for next week. That'll be exciting. Going into the regional, maybe some advice if you're a Space Station fan. They can help them win that regional. But apart from that, host Chrome, you can wrap it up.
Wait, what? Wait, how do we do the outro?
I don't really know
how
how
do
we do it. How do we finish
You
the
just
show?
kind of go say bye and that's it. You just call it quits.
It's true.
Basically.
Thanks for watching episode number 9, right? I think we're on number 9, right?
Number
I
9.
honestly don't remember. Thanks for watching episode number 9. We're gonna be on Spotify, YouTube. Don't know when, don't know how, but it's gonna be done.
Very soon. Jazzo's on it.
Yeah, Jazzo is on the case. Appreciate you guys for tuning in, all 136 of you guys on the live stream. Hope you guys have a good night and enjoy some EU this weekend. I think who else plays? Does Mina play this week?
Sam.
No, Mina doesn't play.
No,
Sam
EU,
plays.
Sam and you,
EU Sam.
SSA, maybe.
probably.
Who cares about SSA, right?
Whoa,
You guys care, I don't.
let me
Wait,
check.
is APAC?
That's-
Is
whoa,
APAC?
hold up, pause.
Uh,
Oh, no.
I mean, obviously we don't care. We didn't talk about SSA,
Wait, it will
did
be
we?
APAC.
APAC is this weekend. It's not SSA. SSA is next weekend. It's SSA, Mina, and Nene at the same time, and OC.
Okay. Yeah, we don't care about APAC or
Oh
SSA.
no, SSA is this weekend too.
We do care about APAC. Elevate, they're going to bounce back. James Cheese.
James Cheese on the rise. Anyways, thanks for watching episode 9. Wonderful having you. See you guys next week. Hope with some Chrome tips, SSG tips. Back at it.
Yeah,
again.
we need them over here.
See you guys. Peace.
Peace.